The morning mist hung low over the beach as I walked along the shoreline, the wet sand cool beneath my bare feet. It was my ritual, every sunrise without fail. The ocean was my church, the crashing waves my hymn. But that morning, the sea had a different sermon to preach. At first I thought it was a piece of driftwood washed ashore. Then I saw the subtle rise and fall of its side. A dolphin. Not just any dolphin, a baby, no more than a few months old. Her tiny body was marooned in the shallows, the receding tide leaving her stranded. Sand clung to her delicate skin, and her breathing was shallow, labored. When I knelt beside her, her eye, dark as polished obsidian, locked onto mine. There was intelligence there, fear, a silent plea. My hands trembled as I scooped water over her, trying to keep her skin from drying out. "Hold on, little one," I whispered. "Just hold on." Fumbling for my phone, I called the Marine Rescue Hotline. The dispatcher's voice was calm but urgent. "Don't move her. Help is on the way." The wait was agony. The sun climbed higher, its rays turning harsh. I watched her gills flare, her body growing weaker. I couldn't lose her, not like this. When the rescue team finally arrived, they moved with practiced efficiency. Wet towels, a stretcher, murmured instructions. One of the volunteers, a grizzled man with salt and pepper stubble, shook his head. "She's in bad shape, don't get your hopes up." But then, a sound. A soft, trembling click from the dolphin's blowhole. It was the most beautiful noise I'd ever heard. The man paused. "Well, I'll be damned." And just like that, I was in the truck, racing toward the rehabilitation center, praying to a God I wasn't sure I believed in. The Marine Center was a symphony of chaos. Squawking seabirds, the hum of filtration systems, the occasional splash of a recovering animal. They named her Nami, after the Japanese word for wave. At first, she refused to eat. The staff tried everything, herring, mackerel, even live fish. But Nami just floated listlessly in her tank, her spirit as battered as her body. Then, on the third day, something changed. I was leaning over the edge of her pool, dangling a fish just above the water's surface. "You have to eat," I murmured, "please." For a long moment, nothing, then a flash of movement. Her snout broke the surface, and with a precision that stunned me, she plucked the fish from my fingers. The staff erupted in cheers, but all I saw was the way her eye held mine as she swallowed, as if to say, "I remember you." Weeks turned into months. Every morning before work, I stopped by the center. Nami knew my footsteps. By the time I reached her tank, she was already waiting at the surface, clicking excitedly. The staff taught me how to work with her, how to encourage her to swim laps, how to monitor her health. She was a quick learner. Soon, she was breaching on command, chasing toys, even mimicking the sounds I made. "There's something special about her," Maria, the lead biologist, said one day as we watched Nami leap gracefully into the air. "And about you two together." I knew what she meant. It wasn't just training. It was trust. A language without words. But as Nami grew stronger, the inevitable loomed. She wasn't meant for tanks and scheduled feedings. She belonged to the ocean. The day dawned clear and bright, perfect for a homecoming. The boat ride out to the release site was quiet. Nami rested in a padded sling, her breathing steady. She seemed calm, ready. When we reached the designated spot, miles from shore where the water was deep and teeming with life, the crew lifted her sling. For a heartbeat, she hovered at the boat's edge, her eyes scanning the horizon. Then, with a powerful flick of her tail, she was gone. I leaned over the railing, searching the waves. Just when I thought I'd lost her forever, she surfaced 20 yards away, arcing high into the air before disappearing beneath the blue. Maria squeezed my shoulder. "She'll be okay." I nodded, but my throat was too tight to speak. The weather had been unpredictable all week. a constant dance between sun and shadow. The forecast called for scattered showers, but the ocean had its own plans. We were 20 miles offshore, tracking a pod of spinner dolphins for a marine conservation study. The waters had been calm that morning, the surface like polished glass. Nami had been on my mind more than usual. 5 years since her release, and still, every dolphin's dorsal fin made me look twice. The first warning came as a shift in the wind, a sudden biting chill that raised the hairs on my arms. The sky darkened in the west, an inky bruise spreading across the horizon. "Storms moving faster than predicted," Captain Reyes muttered, squinting at the radar. "We should head back." But the ocean had other ideas. The waves, once gentle swells, grew taller, angrier. The boat lurched violently, sending equipment skidding across the deck. Rain came in sheets, stinging like needles. "Batten down!" Reyes barked. I scrambled to secure the research gear, my fingers numb with cold. The radio crackled with warnings from the Coast Guard. "Severe squall, 50-knot winds. Seek shelter immediately." Then, the rogue wave hit. It rose like a black wall, taller than the boat itself. There was no time to react. The world tilted violently and I was airborne. The impact of the water knocked the breath from my lungs. Salt burned my nose, my throat. I kicked wildly, but the current was a living thing, twisting me, dragging me deeper. Stay calm, find the surface. But the darkness was absolute. My chest screamed for air. The weight of my clothes pulled me down, down, down. Somewhere in the chaos, a memory surfaced. Nami's eye meeting mine the day we set her free. Did she make it? Is she out here somewhere? The thought was my undoing. My body betrayed me. A gasp. Water flooded my lungs. Then, pressure against my back, something solid, unyielding, pushing me up. I broke the surface with a ragged, choking gasp. Rain lashed my face. Waves clawed at me, but the present stayed. A firm, steady force at my side. A dorsal fin broke the water beside me. Not just any fin, her fin. The scar along its edge, a relic from her stranding, was unmistakable. Nami? My voice was a shattered thing. A click, a vibration in the water against my ribs. Yes. She circled me, her body a barrier against the waves. Every time the current threatened to pull me under, she was there, nudging me back up. I clung to her, my fingers brushing her slick skin. She didn't flinch. Somewhere in the storm, a voice shouted. A light cut through the rain. The rescue boat. Nami pressed close one last time, her snout bumping my hand. A goodbye. Then she was gone, swallowed by the churning sea. The hospital room was too bright, too sterile. The beep of machines grated on my nerves. Lucky to be alive, the doctor said. Another minute underwater but I wasn't listening. I could still feel her, the weight of Nami's body against mine, the way she'd remembered me. Maria visited, her face lined with worry. "You're all over the news," she said, handing me a tablet. The headline blared, "Marine biologist saved by dolphin. A miracle at sea." Grainy footage from the rescue boat showed a dark shape circling me in the water. "They don't believe it was her," Maria said quietly. "But I do." The world wanted a tidy ending, a soundbite. But the truth was messier. I returned to the ocean a month later, my body still aching. The research team had grounded me, too soon, too risky. But I needed to be near the water. Dawn, the same beach where I'd found Nami a lifetime ago. The tide was out, the sand littered with shells. I waded into the shallows, the cold biting my ankles. A ripple. Then another. 50 yards out, a dorsal fin cut through the water. Not just one, two. Nami surfaced first, her scarred fin glistening. Beside her, a smaller dolphin, a calf, its skin still streaked with newborn gray. I froze. Nami clicked, the sound carrying across the water. She nudged her calf forward as if to say, "Look, this is the one I told you about." The calf chirped, curious. My knees gave out. The waves swallowed my tears. Nami circled once, then vanished into the blue, her calf darting after her. But this time I knew it wasn't goodbye. It was thank you.